Oh, it's fun, crazy. It's painful, but it's wonderful. What is the name?
It's Reusse Unchained.
Your Vikings are 5-0, Patrick.
What a sports weekend. The Vikings defense wins another one for them. The second half was not real encouraging with our guy Sam the Man, but the fact that they once again had built a big lead and they made Aaron Rodgers look every minute of his age for most of the game. The Jets have a pretty good defense, but they're terrible offensively, and the Vikings took care of it, although the second half was a little too close for comfort, just like it was the previous week. Mm-hmm. But, this defense is fantastic. The pressure they put on, I'm guessing you damn near have to go back to the purple people eaters to the amount of pressure they're putting on quarterbacks this year. And a lot of it's with 5 guys, but Florey's got everybody so confused of where it's coming from and the collection of athletes they have. It's amazing.
The only thing yesterday was I was surprised that O'Connell continued what he did against the Packers, which was he wanted Darnold to be aggressive, and it felt like Sammy's second half especially, he wasn't real comfortable with that.
That he
Darnold. His pass.
What do you mean?
He just
he didn't throw the ball great, but
no, he just.
But I mean,
that's his worst game so far.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I mean, he was aggressive previously and successful. It just, I don't know. He just had a bad day, I thought. I didn't know if it was the pressure of O'Connell not killing time or what it is. The 3-and-outs were, there were a lot of them, right? A lot of 3-and-outs. So,
unusual.
Yeah, so which kept giving the Jets chances and kept putting pressure on the defense. But, I mean, You get rid of Daniel Hunter and you get Van Ginkel, and he's for about 1/3 the money or less, and he's better. Van Ginkel's better than Hunter. And then the previous couple of weeks, Grenard had 3 sacks one game, and it's phenomenal the guys they brought in for the money they got rid of. It's incredible.
Well, I think the thing too is Hunter could not drop back. Like going into coverage, Van Ginkel, I don't know how he does it, but his reads on plays are spectacular. I mean, the 2 touchdowns, when's the last time we saw a Vikings defensive lineman / Russia do that?
I don't know.
Me neither.
But I mean, whoever said these are the guys we want.
Yeah.
Whoever picked them out of this lot of free agents who, I'm sure that every club in the league, every team in the league looked at them, and most of them said, no, thank you. Whoever made the decisions that these are the guys we want is the MVP in this outfit. Whoever decided these were the people that to bring in, and I think Flores is getting a lot of the credit. I'm not sure if somebody else, some other scout, some pro scout might be in on it too. I don't know. But finding these guys has been incredible. They now, if the Chiefs get beat tonight, we're the only 5-0, right? The Vikes would be the only 5-0.
Chiefs are 4-0.
They get the week off. They're all in London partying now. So I was trying to figure this out early today. Can the Vikes pick up the tab for everybody to party in London, or does that count against the salary cap? If you give everybody $5,000 to whiz away today and tell them take the family out and spend $5,000 today if you want to.
And so, are they coming back tonight? Is that what they agreed to? They stayed last night?
I would guess, yeah. They stayed overnight and they're there today. I don't know if they're coming back tonight, but there's no hurry. They don't play for 2 weeks, so.
Just stay out of trouble, Pat.
Yes,
that's the only thing. This is a pretty good group. I think this is a knock on wood. I think this is a pretty good group, but
just because Addison's not. He's going to take cabs, and he's going to. London's got the greatest cabs of all. Big room in the back seat. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
He'll be taking cabs, so you don't have to worry about him falling asleep or either going 140 or 0. Those are his two options.
Wrong side of the road there, too.
Yes.
Our wrong side of the road.
Yes. There. Oh, yeah, that's very confusing. I was telling somebody earlier that when we flew into Edinburgh, we were going to go cover when I covered my only British Open in the year we had the PGA, so 02. And I rented a car and we're out on the road, and I made it around one cul-de-sac and pulled over and put Katie in the driver's seat. I had no idea. Driving 4-lane runarounds, or whatever we call them,
roundabouts.
Roundabouts, 4-lane roundabouts on the wrong side. No, I could not handle it. I had no hint, and I thought I was going to kill us, so she ended up driving it. She had it figured she could do it. I couldn't do it, but that
would be
weird. It is weird over there, to say the least, when you're driving on the wrong side of the road. And I think driving back to Edinburgh, because she'd already flown to London to meet her sister. I think by driving back, I was able to get back to the airport. So but it was very, very nerve-wracking, to say the least. So when you got 20,000 Viking fans there, how many of them are flying from here, do you think? Or what do we? I wonder what the breakdown is. How many? I mean, how many people are so hardcore Vikings? They really don't have any money. They're semi-broke now, but they're going to put whatever they can on a card and go to London and spend $10,000 taking the wife and maybe a couple of kids with them. I wonder how many of the people there actually were Minnesotans who went to watch him play.
I mean, I saw a bunch of stuff on Twitter, but to your point of 20,000 or approximately that, I don't know. But it is phenomenal, and this has changed in the last, 10, 15 years, 10 years for sure. The amount of people that follow this team on the road now.
Oh, yeah, it is.
That did not happen. Like when I covered the team from 05 to 2010, there would be some fans all the time, but nothing like this.
Well, didn't they say that the Packers yesterday were 30,000? They estimated 30,000.
And when I covered them, that was true.
Yeah.
Because they traveled back then, but at some point in time, the Vikings fans started to do the same.
Well, I remember being on trips where there might be a couple hundred hanging around, at the hotels. There was a game in Tampa that they went to. Dungy was just starting to coach, so that was back a while. And I remember we had a game in Tampa, and there were a lot of them down there. That was a little later in the year, too, when it was getting cold here. So.
Sure.
And there's so many Minnesotans who are tax dodgers now, live in Florida, so you don't know how many of them are there.
Stay safe, because they're about to be hit
by the way, another one, 2 in a week.
I don't get it.
2 in a week, and hey, I remember when there was one hitting down there like 7, 8 years ago, and it said this would be the first one to hit Tampa in 30 years.
Yep.
Now they're having one every 2 weeks. What is going? I
don't know.
Anybody who thinks the warm ocean is BS is crazy. This one could be as bad as the last one, right?
Yes.
So here's the deal. Listen, you go down there, you badmouth the feds, right? You're mad at the taxes you're paying, and then when you have a crisis like this, you want us all over the country to pick up the tab.
Yes.
You want us to give you hundreds of millions of dollars. The hell with you, de-sanctimonious. You got to figure it out yourself. God, I'm glad I got rid of my condo. I wouldn't get any sleep for weeks waiting to figure out.
It seemed like such a good idea at the time, too.
Yes, it did.
Spring training.
6 years.
2 ballparks right there.
Yeah, it's 2.5 months, and then it's small enough you just close her down.
Yes,
if Lavelle goes down in the summer, he can use it for 4 days. We don't, that's
Doogie.
Doogie wants it. That's right. Now, well, the place I had, Paseo, has all these ponds that after getting 40 inches of rain, and I was on a first floor, after getting 40 inches of rain, and that it's got to be knocking on the front door, man. Unbelievable. So anyway, the hell with it. I've already declared I was at my last spring training this year. That was it. It was my 50th anniversary. I'm not going back.
Well, there's not a.
Nothing goes on. Nothing goes on down there anymore.
Well, spring training's changed so much.
Oh, God, yes. It used to be fun. But anyway. So we should go to review the weekend, though.
Oh, yeah. Keep going.
So did you tailgate for the Gopher game? You avoided it. You're too late in the day, huh?
Well, that, and we had family in town because my niece and her husband were in town to run the marathon.
Really?
So I spent time with them.
What the heck kind of a family do you got? Is that Dawn's your bride's sister runs marathons?
Dawn's sister's daughter ran the marathon, her first one, and she said her last.
Yeah.
With her husband, who I believe has done a triathlon, but this was his first marathon.
Oh, one of those guys. So did you go out early in the morning to cheer her on then?
No.
But
I had a Vikings game to watch.
Yeah, that's right.
It was an 8:30 kickoff. I had the built-in reason why I couldn't do it.
Well, you did. You had to do. That's right. They picked a very good very good day to play in London for you, right? You didn't have to go watch the marathon.
Yes.
I think I've written in all the years of it, maybe written about it twice, and I one year waited all day and for the guy that finished last or something like that, and the other time I don't know what I ended up writing, but I like the guys at the end who bet their buddies they could do it and would have about 3 heaters as soon as they finished it after running like 5 hours or 6 hours.
A couple of beers and some
But
smokes.
they bet their friends that they could do it. But boy, they didn't have to worry about the heat this time. They had a gorgeous day for it. Huh? Beautiful.
Cool, some wind. But yeah, that would be something where so my niece said she got to about mile 20 and thought, how the hell am I going to do these last?
Yeah. Yeah, it is incredible.
She got through it. But.
I mean, how do you do it? I have no idea. I know. My running career, after I went through treatment in 81, I pretended to get in shape for 3 or 4 years, and I was running damn near every day, but not very fast, not a mile, maybe mile and a half, nothing ridiculous. But I remember I was running towards Worth Park up the hill there, and there was a large woman in front of me, and I was kind of laughing at this woman being out there jogging. And after about 500 yards, I realized I wasn't catching up to her in any way, and that's when I retired. I said, "To hell with it! I'm not. If this big chubby woman is still keeping me behind her, I'm done. My career is over."
So that's it.
I'm done. Yeah, I went back to eating 3 pizzas a day. The hell with it. That was it. I retired, but doing that. So, Gophers. You think Max Brosmer was in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. His body was
in a mess like that, it's very hard to tell, for sure, especially.
And the first time I think he was not in. The second time when they said he wasn't in, I thought he clearly was.
Yeah. But it's, I don't know. I think they got to get rid of the tush push because it's such a mob, you can't see where the ball is, for God's sake. But I think he was probably in, too, although I told Gopher fans on Twitter I didn't think he was in, just to agitate them. But
PJ, very happy.
Oh, God, was he? He was he won this one for all of us, right? For the state of Minnesota?
Yes.
That's good. So that takes care of all our problems then, if he wins a game. But UCLA's bad, so he can brag about California month is over, baby. We could, he could win them both. So, have they played in the Rose? Have they played out there since the Rose Bowl? They never played at UCLA, right? Regular season game.
Oh no, I don't think so. No, they played.
Don't think.
They played at USC. Was it Brewster's last year?
Yes.
No. I'm sorry. Kill's first year. They played at the Coliseum.
Played at the Coliseum. Yeah.
That was Kill's first year.
Yes.
That might have been his first game.
That was after Jerry. Were they going to play both SC and North Carolina that year or something? That's when Jerry bought him out of North Carolina, made him, which we paid back. But that's, right now you're having a very optimistic year if you didn't lose that opener to North Carolina, because North Carolina, they got beat by Pitt now. And they got, 2 weeks ago, gave up 70 to James Madison.
I think Mac Brown's probably going to retire.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, I said that, he was very good at recruiting when everybody couldn't cheat. Now everybody can cheat, so it's not bad. How much? I don't know. They better tear up the contract for this Parrish kid and give him a new one, though, right?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of tweets back. He's loyal. You're such a killjoy. He's loyal, but an SEC team's going to come with $1 million.
Yeah, what if Ohio State offers him $500,000? Then what are you going to do?
He's a hell of a player.
Oh God, he's a monster.
I mean, he's a monster kid too. He's a freshman, but Chip did a column or story on him a while back, and I read it, but I didn't have any idea that he was this legitimate a player.
He was a hooper too, He kept playing basketball throughout his career. Esco, I always my favorite Esco story is, as I say, my first prep night at the Duluth News-Tribune. The Eskimos call in their basketball box score, and they got all Finlanders. And in my whole life, I don't know if I ever met one. There's none of them in Murray County.
Right.
There's no Finlanders in, Prior Lake. I don't think I ever met. And trying to spell those Finnish names, I had no chance. Double A's and
you got to ask.
L's.
You got to ask. That's what I did.
Oh God, yes. And even when they tell you, you say, "What? Really? You got one L and two A's before the
there's an E where there should be an O.
Oh yeah, and then there's like 7 or 8 letters in the alphabet that they don't use. That's why they got to use so many L's and A's and stuff like that. It's very difficult. It was very difficult. But, that was a nice win. So, and hell, won it for all of us. It makes us feel better about being Minnesotans.
Is USC not that good?
No, I don't think so. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was in and out. I was much more excited watching Vanderbilt knock off Alabama. That was fantastic. 1 week after you beat Georgia in a shootout, you get beat by Vanderbilt, and, of course, Jerry Kill. Now, there's my story on this.
Yeah.
I called the killer I'm writing a column on Mike McElroy, the new coach at Bethel, right? Getting ready to start his first season. And he was a grad assistant for the killer. He's coaching he's out of Southern Illinois, and he played for Jerry. When he was a freshman was Jerry's last year there. He went from Southern Illinois to Northern Illinois. And he's coached some little tiny high school team and way down in Southern Illinois, which is called Little Egypt because it's this rural area, the farming area. Mm-hmm. It used to be the breadbasket of Illinois. But anyway, Jerry calls him up in 07. You know what? Was it 07? I'm not sure which year. And says, no, it wasn't 07. It was 13 or something like that. And says, 13. He says, I need a grad assistant. This is on Thursday. You got to tell me tomorrow if you want it. You got to be here Monday. This is January of that year. And so meanwhile, I start asking him about Vanderbilt. And I talked to him for 15 minutes and why is he there and how did he end up there. And they'd beaten Virginia Tech to open the season, but then they were getting ready to play Georgia State. And they got beat by Georgia State. So whatever happened to the notes, I don't know what the hell happened to my killer notes because I have no idea. Because once they lost to Georgia State, I said, I'm not going to need these. Then they beat Alabama. Could have been a free column, right? Anyway, I hate to call them back and say, remember that conversation we had a month ago? Can you repeat it?
I thought you guys sucked.
Can you repeat everything you told me? But the kid that beat Alabama, he brought with him from New Mexico is a quarterback, kind of a 5'11" Hispanic kid, Diego Pavia.
Yeah, I saw the name.
He got nobody wanted him out of college, out of high school down there in New Mexico. He went to New Mexico Military Institute, which is a JC, for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then I think he might have had another stop before New Mexico State. I think Jerry's first year, he wasn't going to be the starting QB. They messed around with somebody else and he couldn't play. So they started playing this kid. So now he goes to Vanderbilt after, Kill quits. He goes to Vanderbilt. The offensive coordinator goes to Vanderbilt, and all of a sudden Jerry's there as the offensive consultant. Okay. I don't know if it was a 3-man package deal or not, but whatever it was, Vanderbilt hadn't beaten him in 40 years? Was it 40 years? Something like that.
Oh, Alabama. I didn't see it. But probably.
I guess last time they beat him at home was like 40-some years
ago. So what's Jerry on stops now since he left the university?
Oh, God. I think 8. I listed them. I had a list of them. It might be 8, but he quits. And then he goes, Rutgers was the first one.
Kansas State at some point?
Kansas State, he was a consultant, right? Yeah. He was for Bill Snyder. That was his first job. Then he went to Rutgers, I think.
Yep.
Then he gave that up after 1 year because he was having trouble again. And he and the wife, who are not together anymore, I interviewed him in the cars. They're driving back from Rutgers and did a column on him and about how you're just going to go down and live in Southern Illinois and be around the grandkids, and he's done, right? And then he took then he ended up being the AD at Southern. Remember, he went to work at Southern Illinois and then he became the AD at Southern Illinois. Yes. And then he tells her that he's going to TCU to be a consultant with Gary Patterson.
Yep.
And that apparently didn't work too well. And so since then he's been TCU. Then he was the interim coach after they fired Patterson, right? With 4 or 5 games to go.
Yeah,
then he went to New Mexico State, but I'm missing 1 or 2 in here. I can't remember. I think it's 7 or 8 different places. Unbelievable. And New Mexico State, he got a tattoo. Got a big tattoo.
Why did he leave?
Then he leaves. I don't know why he left him. I don't know. I thought he was
like
committed.
A good enough low pressure job. He did a good job.
When I talked to him after he left last year, I talked to him and he said he was having troubles again with the problem that he has. So he was having troubles.
Seizures.
He was, I guess he had 1 or 2 that nobody knew about or something. I don't know. But this one is, this one, he's just a consultant. I don't think he's ever recovered from leaving $8 million on the table here.
Well, did he really think that he was going to be, that Clays was going to stay here and he was going to stay as like the
that was general manager of the program? He's tried to maneuver that one, and he and I overcame. But when he came up with that idea, I wrote a column saying what a stupid idea it was. And because Sid was kind of promoting it, remember? Sid was promoting this idea that Jerry could be the liaison between the football program and the president, right? And the AD was not going to have anything to do with football. And was that still Maturi then? Probably, huh? That was before Coyle, maybe.
Oh, it might. No, it was the athletic director at Iowa now, Beth.
Oh, Beth, yeah, that's right.
She was I think she presided.
I wrote a column anyway, I was down in Florida and wrote a column about,
that's right.
Might have even been a blog about how stupid of an idea this was. And when I looked at my phone in the morning, I had like 9 calls from Jerry Kill. when I turned my phone back on in the morning, and
I remember.
And he didn't scream or anything, but he talked for a half hour, right? And then, but after that, I called him a few times after that, and he was fine.
Well, and what's funny is now that idea would not be nearly as silly as it was then.
Oh God, no!
Because now you could actually, schools are starting to actually get GMs because of all the money involved and stuff.
Yeah, they have to help.
Yeah,
finance the NIL and all that stuff,
correct.
and you can do anything now, right? I mean, you can buy players. It's a different world for sure.
Those schools, the Power Four conferences now, why they remain in the NCAA as academic institution athletic makes no sense.
No,
like football needs to just break out and be professional.
Well, that's what they should have done. They should have kept the leagues all the same, right?
Yeah.
And then just football was a separate entity, and football had to give half its money to the school's athletic departments or something.
Yep. But they're professional.
Something like that.
It's a professional sport then. And then you also don't have the issues of you don't care if kids go to class, which is fine, right? Mm-hmm. So it takes it outside the spectrum. But yeah, that Kill suggestion now would make sense. Back then, it was like, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you doing? Meanwhile, our girl Beth landed, and she's now the AD at Iowa, right?
Yes.
And I wonder what. And she's the one that had to deliver the news to Ferentz that he had to fire his son, right? Because she had all the boosters with money screaming and hollering to get rid of the guy. So.
Yes, Beth she was the one to put her foot down and say, your son's an idiot.
That is true. Anyway, so we got football taken care of with those three things, but how about our Wolfies debut? And this Minot kid goes and gets 30 or something, making shots all over. I wrote a column about it. He's got too many players. What's he going to do?
Too much
What's he going to do? He's got 14 guys that got to play, right?
The Iowa Wolves are going to win a championship.
Oh, God, yes.
I mean, they're going to be loaded.
How long are these guys going to put up with Luka? You can't send him to Iowa anymore. Luka's too good.
And have you seen how he looks?
You need a big guy, yeah.
He looks like a Greek god.
Did you see who J.J. Redick, the coach, went crazy about? That declared him unstoppable? Luka. He had a quote about how good Garza was. So,
I didn't see that.
So there's without Cat, you say they need a big guy. Well, the guy who's going to get the rotation to some degree is going to be Luka. So they got players they don't know what to do with. Unbelievable.
Well, to your point from before, too, Dillingham and Shannon, how much can you play there?
Yeah, Shannon's got to play, and it sounds like he's got a guy that's going to get phased out because he's basically Ant's backup, I would guess. I don't know officially what his position is, but he's 6'6". He was the best player in the Big Ten last year. He was great. And, he basically took Illinois they went to the final, right? Didn't they, here in the Big Ten tournament?
Oh, yes,
he had a big game. Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I mean, he basically carried them to the final. I love him. And, they got too many players. Poor Finchie.
He's going to be staying up nights trying to.
But yeah, they're going to boo Finchie if he doesn't give Luka enough time or something like that. Finchie's got issues, man. He might be a genius, but how you going to? Here's a guy who likes to play 9, and when one of those 9 was hurt, he played 8 last year, right?
Yes.
And now he's got 14 of them. You only can dress 13. That's and everyone he has there is going to be a guy that should play some. So, what a unique problem for our Timberwolves, because I don't think they've ever been over talented previously, have they?
I don't think so. No,
they had a bench.
And not like this with youth as well.
Okay, now I got a question. When does our hockey team officially play a game? I'm very confused.
Thursday. Columbus
home
Blue
opener.
Jackets. Home opener.
Home opener. Thursday. The Blue Jackets.
And then the Blue Jackets on Saturday.
And then who?
The You're cracking.
Oh,
You're
the
Seattle
crackheads.
cracking. Crackheads are Saturday.
Are the Blue Jackets supposed to be terrible again?
Yeah, and unfortunately, the sad story is Johnny Gaudreau, who was their star.
Yes, right, going to be their star. Yes,
so
yeah.
It's going to be opening night. It was originally going to be great fun because Dino is coming back. He's the Blue Jackets coach now.
Oh yeah, but now it's
now it's going to be really sad.
What an incredibly sad deal that is, right? Dino.
Poor Dino.
Yeah, poor Dino. He walks into that situation but there was now Torts was gone from there before Dino got hired, though, right? Torts.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, Torts.
I think they've gone through two.
Where the hell's Torts now? The Knicks, the Philly.
Flyers.
He and Lavalette switched jobs, right?
Yeah.
Is Torts still got the Philly job?
He does.
Did Fletcher get fired though? Fletcher out there?
Fletcher was fired a couple years ago.
Okay, it's hard to keep track. It's hard to keep track.
Oh yeah. Hockey GM and coaches. Yeah, it's impossible.
Yes, yeah, it is. It is impossible. But that is an awful deal, man. And then Saturday, so what have we discovered? Anything in the preseason about them?
Well,
so does this mean are they going to keep 3 goalies or what the hell is going on?
To start the season, they're going to keep 3. So my question is, how are you going to use them, and for how long can you do this?
Why did if they were bringing back Gus the Bus? Why did they bring back the Flower? Just out of loyalty? What'd they end up paying?
Come back for one more year. I think they're going to try and trade Gus the Bus as early as they possibly can. I think if he plays well, they'll try. There are teams that need goaltending.
And nobody, they couldn't get the offer they wanted, so they kept them. Huh? So when you have 3 goalies, then what happens? Does that cost you a skater or not really?
It doesn't, but it costs you salary cap room. Every day, everyday players on your roster, that comes from your salary cap. So if they don't trade Gus the Bus, I think at some point they'll probably send Volstead down.
Okay.
More for cap. But I mean, playing 3 goaltenders, as you know, that's a nightmare. So
who do we think is going to be? Are we doing the secret sauce? We don't tell anybody who the starting goalie is now, even in the regular season. Well, we know. I guess if you go to the skate
on
Thursday,
yeah. My guess is it might be Gus.
Might be Gus to get him out there, right?
Yeah. You know who Gus is? Gus is the Wild's version of Max Kepler.
Okay. Yeah.
You know how the Twins really would have liked to trade Max, but they couldn't find a sufficient offer for him? I think Gus falls into the Kepler. We would have really liked to trade him, but we're not going to take nothing for him.
No. And now they're going to get nothing for him, which is, but there's a zero. When it was run by Falvey on Friday, when I suggested, just not in the main conversation, but later, said, who's replacing Kepler? I didn't get any argument that there was that Kepler was being replaced, so that there's no chance that he'll be back. So anyway.
That's good to know.
Yes.
That's good to know there's no temptation.
No. I wonder what kind of job you think he'll get? You think somebody will give him $6 or $7 million, or is he going to end up having to go to spring training and make a club?
That wouldn't shock
somebody will probably sign him, huh?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be for a lot or much term.
No. Well, he made 11 this year, right? Didn't he make 11?
Yeah, that's right.
Was it 11? So anyway, that's our Twins conversation for the day. And the hockey and our Lanks, man, that was disappointing, huh?
Yeah, what happened? So they were up in the game. I didn't see it.
Yeah, they were up, and then
the
other team started making shots. Now it was a much loosey-goosier game than when the Sun and the first 2 that they played here were like arm wrestling matches.
Yep.
The last 2 down there have been the Lynx made all their shots in Game 3, and the second half, the Sun made all their shots.
So Game 4 was not back to a defensive battle?
No, 92-82. Okay. And, it was they really shot well the second half the way it looked. And so now, who knows, Tuesday, but either way, it would seem to be a big advantage for the Liberty, who finished off Las Vegas Sunday, so they can sit around and wait for the winner to show up on Thursday.
Where do they play now? Barclays Center in Brooklyn?
I think so. Yeah, they play in Barclays Center. I believe. And Brianna Stewart is one of their big stars, and we got Fisi and Fiza. And they are the two founders of the 3-on-3 league together. And, of course, UConn alums, too, like half the league is, too. So
okay.
And so that's an interesting rivalry, to say the least, if they end up getting that far. But it was revealed that Cheryl was screaming at the Sun after they won Game 1. Did you see that? No. She was bad-mouthing them as they were leaving the floor or walking up the ramp, really? Celebrating after Game 1. And Cheryl and I was in the press room, and I heard them coming up the ramp, yelling, "We're here," with some adjective or some profanities in the middle of it. The Sun. Right. And somebody came in and told me that Cheryl was out there yelling at them, but it was like just a guy who works, back there. Wasn't a reporter or anybody, and I really did not. I couldn't go with it because I didn't see what happened, and I didn't know what the situation was.
But she was.
Yes, and apparently the NBA or the WNBA looked into it to see if it was inappropriate behavior. Cheryl, losing is not, accepting defeat is not one of Cheryl's strong points, I don't think. But that's good. That's probably why she succeeds, right?
Exactly right. But she won't take it well then if they are not victorious in Game 5 on Tuesday night, which could be.
Well, remember when they had the great series with the Sparks? Probably the best series ever, and all she did was scream about the officials for 15 minutes after the game.
I will say this: I've covered 2 games, and one of them I covered. I was astounded by how bad the officiating is in that league.
Oh God, it's terrible.
It is for a league that's growing in popularity, getting better, and gaining a lot of sports fans. I feel like now the officiating is awful.
There are nights I've watched enough when it's better, but not. Okay. There's also nights when it's just brutal, and but I have said for a while now, one of the biggest problems with women's basketball is officiating. It is awful on the college level. It's pathetic. It's bad. Remember when they were going to show their, show what a woke organization they were, and they had the 3 women work the finals for the first time a couple years ago, and it was absolute cluster mess, awful. The one gal had no idea if she was on foot or horseback. She was just making these ungodly, awful calls. And I think we decided we wanted people to actually call the game.
Know what they're doing?
Correct. Yeah, that would, to me, that's an asset to actually have a hint as to what the hell is going on.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of people who know what's going on, Patrick Reusse, why don't you tell me about your friends at the Valley Auto Group? Because they
Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Auto Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley, my guys, and Hastings, both sides of town covered. And guess what? These are guys who are working for Jim Paul and Brett Paul, and they know what they're doing. Neil Hadding was a top salesperson at Valley for over 2 decades, probably the best truck guy around. He left for a management position elsewhere, but he came back, and he's back to deal with his thousands of old friends and customers at the Valley Group. Neil Hadding, you want a truck? Go see him. Fantastic. Similar story with Tim Condon. many years in sales and finance at Valley. He's the guy that went to Alaska and fished and said, that's enough of this. He's back too, and he's a finance guy at Valley Group of GM dealers. He makes sure you get a good deal. And then Charlie Fink, he's been a Valley Group for years. He's at Apple Valley to head up a finance department. He is well known to many Twin Cities car customers after being in the business for over 3 decades. And my guy Leon, he retired, but I dealt with the same guy out there for years. Leon, they have an experienced staff who are going to make sure you get a deal that you want and for the vehicle you want. Great vehicles, great stock now. There's factory rebates going on again. And, of course, low interest rates, 0.9, 1.9 on some of the vehicles. Those big Sierra trucks everybody wants, we got a raft of them. Nice. Go see Neil Hadding. He's the best truck guy in town. He'll make you a deal.
Outstanding. And then don't forget, St. Thomas football hits the road for New York this Saturday on 1500 ESPN and 1500ESPN.com. Next up, a battle with Marist. Pregame at 11:30 a.m. Kickoff at noon. 1500 ESPN, and you can stream the game. 1500.
And our team, our guys, they won one finally. They beat Stetson, although they were leading big early, and it kind of turned into an adventure. I was listening to the end of it on right here on 1500, and it was getting a little nervous time, but they are now this is the start of year 4 in the Pioneer League, and they're 22-3 in the Pioneer League.
Wow.
So, and had an unbeaten year, of course, 2 years ago, and then 6-2 6-2 and 7-1 their other years in the Pioneer League. So
when does hockey?
I haven't gone over and seen my Tommies yet. I got to see how Glenn's holding up after a little. The 64-0 was not easy to take, I'm sure, but he's a resilient guy. He'll be back.
When are hockey and basketball eligible for the tournaments?
I think 2 more years. They supposedly were rumors that they were going to reduce it from 5 to 4, but I haven't heard anything yet. Hockey's good. Did you see that hockey was rated as the co-favorite for
hockey could go
to win the league? Them and Bemidji were the co-favorites ahead of Mankato.
Yeah,
and they expect the hockey to be really good. Now they have the deal, the fight for the arena over there. The neighbors are fighting it and trying to get some of the neighbors, not all of them, are fighting the new arena. But meanwhile, the arena is still being built. So basketball and hockey are going to be the sports where they are extremely competitive, and they're going to have to stay in the Pioneer League, which is non-scholarship football, D1 FCS football, because either that or you can't play at a higher level in that stadium that they have there now. So anyway, that's okay. It's okay to keep it going this way. So anyway,
the basketball team though. Eventually, like that could be intriguing, because I will say this: I think there are potentially more NIL boosters for St. Thomas basketball than there are for Gopher basketball.
There could be. Now they, that they did lose their best player a year ago, who when he went to Virginia, supposedly got a couple $100,000 or $3 or something. Andrew Rohde.
Yeah,
and he went to the worst. He's a guy, one of those guys, he should have the ball in his hands at all times. Point guard, 6'4", 6'5". Virginia was absolutely the worst place for him to go because, they don't play that way. They don't play fast. And but he had to take the money. But I'm sure he was much happier running the offense for St. Thomas. But sure. St. Thomas basketball, they're good. They're going to be good. And once again, our Gophers have avoided playing them. But then I'll say this. Yeah. St. John's basketball, D3, is very willing to play St. Thomas if they want to. And St. Thomas has Crown on their schedule and North Central on their schedule.
It doesn't win any part
They
of the
got
Johnnies?
3 stops, but they won't pay the Johnnies. So as much heat as I give the Gophers for not playing St. Thomas should play the Johnnies. I was sure, though, that Johnnies would want a home and home, too. So that might be the problem. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But anyway, it's, the fact that Gophers once again have revealed that non-conference schedule that they're playing schools like North Alabama to come and play here instead of
And then they expect to sell tickets.
I don't know.
That's what amazes me.
Instead of giving bus fare to St. Thomas, it makes no sense.
Ticket sales. We need to sell more tickets. Ben Johnson.
Yes.
We got to get more people in the barn. You're not going to get any people in that place if you're playing nobody.
And now Motzko's playing them, so what's the difference? Motzko and St. Tom, he's playing them, and there's a much bigger risk for Motzko playing them than there is. It's hockey. It's hockey. You can lose 4-3. Well, they filled XL Energy Center last year, so
which is brilliantly a Tommy's home game.
Yes. It's I don't know what. Sometimes I think I'd make a fine AD over there, but then if I couldn't get along with the football coach, that'd probably be a problem, right?
Every sport would cheat. That's all you have to know. And it's hard to cheat now.
Well, yeah, it's okay. It's not cheating anymore. It's not cheating to pay people. No. Although I love the idea. We got all these Fortune 400 companies. Why don't they NIL? Well, because they all have a board of directors. That's why.
Right.
It's not the old days when there was 8 guys in town running the organization, and
Sid was one of them.
They could help Murray Warmath get some young men from the South who wanted an opportunity to play big time football. So that it's a little different now.
Well, and the executives from those companies also, most importantly, have to be proud graduates of the school.
Yes.
Like they're not going to just donate. If they went to St. Thomas, they're not just going to give the university its money.
Or if they went to Harvard or wherever the hell they went, Marquette Business School or something. Yeah, they're not, most of them are more attached to their alma mater than they are the Gophers. So wherever the Northwestern or someplace. So. Anyway. All right. We're good. We're good. A very eventful sports weekend, that's for sure.
And we mentioned the Twins very briefly once, which is the most important thing.
Yes, that's good. Well, we can start worrying about them in March, and let's hope that by the time spring training starts next February, they're no longer underwater down there. That would be good. So,
Amen.
Okay.
All right,
Judd. Thank you.
See you later. Bye.